Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today we have some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and another episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and/or fan questions, and I must go to answer them. These past couple of days have been absolutely awful, guys. I just want to say here at the very beginning of the video, I have been having a bad couple of days, because you guys don't know, I run two YouTube channels, right? I run NerosCinema here, my main YouTube channel, as well as Nero's Let's Plays, which is kind of just a fun little side project for me more than anything. It's more of a passion project. I don't break the bank with that channel, but I usually just enjoy making videos for it. But the past couple of days have been bad because everything that could go wrong with that channel has been going wrong. So it started with my Madden series. If you guys don't know, my Let's Play channel right now, I'm mainly focusing on Fallout 4 and Madden because those are two games I really like playing. I'm doing series dedicated to both of those games. And in my Madden series, which we're over 100 episodes in at this point, I recorded two games, which would have been 2 episodes of that series, and my capture software just died on me. I hit stop record, it just died on me, and now I have to jump through all kinds of hoops and hurdles just to try and recover the backup footage. I think I'm going to be able to. I'm going to be able to recover it, but there's going to be some breaks in the gameplay, so I of course have to edit that up and sync it all together, and just, it's a lot more work than I wanted it to be. I just wanted to record a couple of Madden episodes, post them up for people that wanted to watch it, and move about my day. Now it's becoming like a 2-day process trying to get everything all sorted out, and then today I go to record some more Fallout, and for whatever reason, when I record this particular character, my melee character for my Fallout series, whatever reason, no idea why, the audio is just always off sync. I have no idea why. It doesn't record properly whenever I play on that character. It is so frustrating. So I've spent the better part of today just going through and trying to piece by piece make sure the audio is all synced up in all the right locations, because it doesn't just mess up in one location, it has to mess up in multiple locations. It's just been, oh, it's been quite an ordeal. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time to make this week's episode of Dear Nero, the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and/or fan questions. And I was looking through the questions for this week's episode, and I noticed a trend. We got a lot more Twitter questions this week than usual, and a lot of them were actually pretty good. So without even looking at my YouTube questions, we're going to focus this entire episode on questions from Twitter. Now, don't you fret if you guys sent in a question for this week's episode via YouTube. I will look through those questions next week. Do not worry about that whatsoever. I'm going to look through all of them next week, and I'm going to be featuring a good amount of them in next week's episode as well. But just for this week's episode, I figured we'll do something different and only accept questions from Twitter, of which we got a number of good ones. I think it's also going to encourage you guys to want to actually follow me on Twitter and submit your questions via Twitter. If you guys aren't part of it, I mean, that's like the other half of YouTube. I mean, really, it's fun to have a Twitter. It's fun to follow various YouTubers, all kinds of people within the community. It's a really cool thing. If you guys want to follow me, it's at Nero Tweets. Feel free to go ahead and do so. But without further ado, let's get into the questions here. The first one is going to be coming in from Justin C., who's going to write, Dear Nero, if you developed your own Call of Duty game, what would you name it and what would the setting be? I wonder what I would do. It's almost as if I made an entire video on this exact same subject. Yes, I did actually. Shameless plug here at the very beginning of the video for you, Justin C. specifically. If you didn't see that video, I highly recommend it. I called it my own Call of Duty game. And in there, I talk about the setting, I talk about the name, I talk about how I would do the kill streaks and how I would do the customization, how I would do everything if for whatever reason I was just, put at the helm of the next Call of Duty game. I even talk about which developer I would choose, the setting of the game, exactly everything that I would do, top to bottom. I go over all the details in that video, what I would do if I had free reign to make my own Call of Duty game. Go ahead and check out that video if you guys haven't already. The next question, he's actually going to write, Dear Nero, what does your clan tag SBFC mean? Love your videos. Keep up the amazing work. Joe from New Jersey. So Joe, SBFC means Strictly Business Friendship Club. Now, there's actually a bit of a backstory to that, and some longtime fans of my show may already know the backstory, but for those of you guys that don't, I figured I'd go ahead and run through it really quickly for you guys. So, Strictly Business was the name of the team that I put together right before, I think it was actually right at the end of Modern Warfare 2, right at the very beginning of maybe the original Black Ops. And the idea was I had tryouts on my old YouTube channel. I had a bunch of subscribers like trying out for this team. We were going to be like a pub stomping team, basically. This is back before pub stomping teams were even really a thing. And the idea was we're just going to have a bunch of people to always play with. We are always going to be able to play with each other. We're going to be all part of a team, and that's what we did. We would play Ground War with, a full party of 9. All of us had SB in our name. That's why to this day I still have SB in my gamer tag, SB Nero. It's from those days. Team SB kind of dwindled off, I suppose. I talked about before, but, people grow up. We're not, 16-year-old, kids, still in high school, just carefree, doing whatever, playing video games anymore. We were at the time, but we're not anymore. We're all in our 20s now. A lot of us have families, a lot of us have kids now, some of us went off to college, some of us have careers, some of us don't play video games anymore. Just we all kind of drifted apart as we got older, which is kind of a little bit sad, honestly, but I still have SV in my name from those days. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. And we decided to have the friendship club in there because the idea of Team SV sounded so silly, especially like once a lot of us started drifting away and it was just only a couple of us left. Like right now, it's basically me and my buddy Cypher. We're like the only active people from SV who are even around anymore. And the idea of being Team SV or strictly business gaming or anything like that, it didn't fit us. We weren't that serious, so we started calling ourselves the Strictly Business Friendship Club instead. And it's that's what it's been. And that's now I think about it now, that's been my clan tag like ever since like Black Ops 3 came out. Like I put it in like the first day, and I don't think I've changed it since November. So yeah, that's my clan tag, and that's the backstory. Hopefully you enjoyed my little trip down memory lane. I used to play Call of Duty with a lot of really awesome people, and I'm still in contact with some of them, but it's sad. You get older and you drift away a little bit. And so if any of you guys are in that situation right now, you're 15, 16, 17, you're in high school, just, staying up all night on summer vacation, playing Call of Duty with your friends, cherish that time. Cherish it, because it may come to an end someday once people get older and, start families and start careers and, become adults. The next question is going to be coming in from Alpha, who's going to write, Dear Nero, today is my birthday and I'm finally 17. Being that you're older than I am, is there any wisdom that you think you can pass on? So first and foremost, happy belated birthday to you, Mr. Alpha. Hope you had a good one. Of course, it was a couple of days ago by the time I'm actually answering this question, but still, happy 17th birthday, man. If I could give you any wisdom of all my years on this earth, all 24 years, I'm an old man now, don't you know, 24 years old. My advice would be start. Start whatever it is you're putting off, start it now. If you're talking about perhaps, starting to exercise, start now. You know when the best time to start exercising is? Yesterday. You know what the second best time to start exercising is? Today. Start it. If you're thinking about, starting to weight lift or starting to walk more or starting to exercise or just trying to get healthier as a whole, start now. Stop putting it off. If you're thinking about trying to learn something new, if you're thinking about learning a new language or learning an instrument or learning a new video game or getting into computers or whatever it is you're thinking about learning it, how to do, start. You start doing it now. Start working harder. Start studying harder. Whatever it is you're putting off, start now. If you're a smoker and you've been talking about quitting, start now. Start taking steps to make that a reality. Start whatever it is you're putting off, because there's one thing I've learned in my life. It's that the more you put off something, the more you're going to regret it later. Like, I'm 24 years old right now, right? And I'm not super healthy by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I'm always here at my computer, but I'm not like a super unhealthy person either. I'm just kind of in the middle. What if I would have started jogging when I was like 18 years old? What if I would have started jogging a couple of times a week? How much healthier would I be right now than I am currently? What if I would have quit smoking before I quit smoking? What if, I would have actually started taking steps towards learning an instrument back when I was like 19, and I would have been working on that over the course of the past 5 years? What if I would have started, trying to learn a new language? Like, imagine all that time that you spent over the past couple of years, and what if you would have started something several years ago? Where would you be right now? That's something I think about quite often. And so if there's any advice I can give you guys, start. Whatever you're putting off, start it now. And I think you'll be very happy in the future once you actually master or you succeed and you finish whatever it is that you're trying to do. The next question is coming in from FMJ, who's going to write, Dear Nero, do you think we will see a system in Call of Duty to where we can have our weapon in our left hand like in CSGO? So that's a pretty good question, honestly. I can see Call of Duty wanting to do something like that in the future. It makes sense for them to do it because in my mind anyway, and this is completely uneducated, it seems like it's just a cosmetic change. I have seen some stuff online of people saying it's actually an advantage to have your weapon in your left hand if your right eye is dominant, because if your right eye is dominant, you don't want as many things like your gun taking up the right hand side of your screen. You want it to be nice and clear because your right eye is stronger and it can see more things, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's any actual validity to that. It seems right. They use a lot of big words. It sounds kind of right to me, but I really don't know if there's any actual advantages or disadvantages to having it in the left hand. But I do find it odd that just about every shooter game in the history of ever has the gun model being held in the right hand. It's just something that most video games have. So if they do decide to include that in Call of Duty in the future, I'd be okay with it. Again, uneducated opinion. I don't know if there's any actual advantages or disadvantages to it, but I have seen screenshots of what you're talking about of people holding the gun in their left hand in CSGO, and I hate them. I absolutely hate them. Maybe it's all my years of Call of Duty and Battlefield and just shooter games as a whole, but every game that I play, the gun's in the right hand. And so when I see it in the left hand like that, it's like, no, that doesn't look right to me. It's weird. It looks like it's just being flipped over. I don't like it. It's so odd looking to me, and I don't think I could ever get used to it. But then again, I'm a right-handed person, so maybe that's something to do with it. The next question is coming in from Gian. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm not even entirely sure. Who's going to write, Dear Nero, do you think that there is a chance for an 11th specialist to love your videos? So I think that's definitely possible that they'll add an 11th specialist to Black Ops 3. I'll definitely not put it past Treyarch. It makes a lot of sense for them to do it, actually. I mean, if I were them, I would put together another specialist. Now, I don't even know how I would balance it. I don't even know what abilities it would have, to be perfectly honest. But if I were them, I would put in another specialist right towards the end of the Black Ops 3 lifecycle, like picture, late September, early October is when I think I would actually go ahead and implement this thing. And the reason why I would implement it is kind of like a thank you, I guess. Like, here, have this for free. Sorry for screwing you over with supply drops for, almost an entire year, right? That's what I would do if I were them. I would make it so, like, hey, here's this free thing. Hope you guys forgive us for all that stupid supply drop stuff. Here's a free specialist. That would be a proper specialist. I don't know what the abilities would be, but make it actually available all the time, like Ruin or Reaper or whatever, right? Don't make it like Blackjack where you have to do some special things to unlock it for an hour every single week. Maybe make it so you do some challenges and you can unlock it permanently, but make it so people can have it for free. I think that would be cool, and I definitely would not put it past Treyarch to add another specialist to the game as kind of like a last big piece of content right before the end of the game's life cycle. I definitely see that happening, and honestly, I think it'd be a pretty fantastic idea. The next question is going to come in from Boundless, who is going to write, Dear Nero, since Terminal will remain in Infinite Warfare, are you worried that it may play different and not be the same? That is what I think a lot of people are wondering about the map. I mean, they show us a piece of concept art, right? If you guys don't know, Terminal, the classic map from Modern Warfare 2 that was also recreated into Modern Warfare 3, is going to be the pre-order bonus map for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And what they showed us was just a piece of concept art, but it looks pretty good. It looks like they haven't really changed around a lot of things, but it's going to be a station on the moon. So that's going to be pretty interesting. One of the few details we know about Infinite Warfare's multiplayer is that it's going to have a Black Ops 3 style movement system, and just by that very nature, it is going to play differently, right? It's going to be different. Like, it played slightly different in Modern Warfare 3 as compared to Modern Warfare 2 because it's a different game. There's going to be different weapons, different perks and stuff like that, so it was slightly different, but overall, it felt pretty much the same. It's going to be a lot different in Infinite Warfare because we're going to have double jumping, guys. We're going to be able to wall run, I think. I mean, if it's they said it's like Black Ops 3, and in Black Ops 3 we can wall run, so we're probably going to be able to wall run. We're most certainly going to be able to double jump. We're definitely going to be able to slide. We've seen at least that much in the reveal footage they've given us so far, and by that very nature, it's going to play a little bit differently. Like, you think of that big hallway on Terminal, you're not going to have to go through one of the doorways anymore. Like, you can just shoot the window and then double jump in there and enter that hallway from anywhere. Same thing can be said for the other side of the map. You can definitely do a lot of interesting things with that. I wonder how wall running and double jumping is actually going to change the map, and if they're actually going to make any changes to the layout of the map to compensate for the movement system. We're going to have to see. All we have right now is one image, one piece of concept art, so we don't know too much about it, but I definitely think it's going to play differently. Do I think it's going to be amazing? I don't know. If it's like Terminal, it's probably going to be fun. I think it's going to be a map that I'm going to enjoy by the very nature that I know the spawn points, I know the layout of the map, I know where people like to go because I've played so much Terminal in the past, but it's going to be different. I don't think people should go into it with the idea that it's going to play exactly like Terminal, because by the very nature that we have a different movement system, it's going to be different, at least in that respect. So I'm looking forward to it, but I have no idea how it's going to play. The next question is going to be coming in from Human, who is going to write, Dear Nero, what do you think about the idea of a Call of Duty game where every game mode is based around the zombies universe? So, Human, I don't even know what to call you. I don't know what to think about that question, honestly, because what if Call of Duty was based on the Zombies universe? Multiplayer would be really fun. I don't know how they would change it. Like, would multiplayer perks have to be Perca-Cola perks? Like, I don't know how that would work, but I definitely think it'd be awesome if multiplayer maps were set in the Zombies universe. That would be really fun. That's why they should have an entire Zombies game. Like, I get that they sell a lot of extra copies by the very nature that they have zombies along with their great multiplayer as well as campaign. Like, that's one of the reasons why Treyarch games typically do so well, and I think the success of Zombies is actually why Infinity Ward is adapting their own version of Zombies for Infinite Warfare. But if they were to make their own Zombies game, that would be fantastic. Like, have a full-on story, right? Have multiple maps, like not just like 4, with all the DLC and stuff like that, but have a bunch of maps, have a full-on story, have a Left 4 Dead style mode where maybe you go like safe house to safe house. That would be pretty cool. But also have a multiplayer where you can actually play multiplayer on Zombies maps. That would be so cool. Like, imagine if she Kino Numa or Mob of the Dead or Transit or Doris or wherever it is your favorite zombies map is, right? Imagine if that was a multiplayer map. How cool would that be? Like, I think that would be really interesting. Again, I don't know how they would do perks. I don't know how they would do weapons or anything like that if it was all set in the zombies universe, but just from a map standpoint, right? I think it would be so cool if some of these zombies maps were actually multiplayer maps. That would be really fun. And honestly, why haven't they done that? Why haven't they done that just once, right? They can do all kinds of cool and interesting things with their DLC maps. Why would they not just take, like, a classic zombies map, like Treyarch, like their 4th DLC, which is going to be coming out whenever they decide to put that out? What if they were going to be like, you know what? We're going to take Doris and make it a multiplayer map. Maybe they wouldn't do Doris because, of course, they remade that for Black Ops 3 as the Giants. Maybe they do a different map. Like, picture Kino. What if Kino was a multiplayer map? Now, it would be a pretty big multiplayer map, I completely admit. So maybe they have to block off certain areas, or maybe they have to do something with it. But it'd be really cool if they were to take a zombies map and allow us to play multiplayer on it. I'm just saying, that would be pretty freaking awesome. And I like your question, man, because it gets me thinking about stuff like that. And hopefully it got you guys thinking as well. Like, how cool would it be if you could play Call of Duty multiplayer on a zombies map? I think a lot of people would like that. The next and final question for this week's episode of Dear Nero is actually a question I get a lot. I've answered it a couple of times, but I get it so often, I'm going to go ahead and answer it again anyway. He writes, Dear Nero, will you consider playing other Pokemon games on your Let's Play channel? And the answer is yes. I've had this issue with Nintendo where they intentionally took down one of my most popular videos. At the time, my best video on Nero's Let's Play, just so they can bump up their own trailers in the search rankings. So I've hated Nintendo and hated specifically the Pokemon Company ever since then. But I do think I will do a Pokemon Let's Play in the future. I don't know when, I don't know what, but I'm definitely open to the idea of playing more Pokemon games. I'm a big Pokemon fan. Playing Pokemon Go, of course, has kind of revitalized my interest in the Pokemon series. I do plan to eventually do another Pokemon series, but just right now, I'm so swamped with stuff on Nero's Let's Plays. Like right now, I'm trying to finish up Fallout 4. I'm trying to finish up Madden 16. I'm trying to finish up some old Let's Plays I never had a proper ending to. Cough, cough. And there's just a lot of stuff I'm trying to do in Nero's Let's Plays right now. Of course, there's a bunch of new games going to be coming out. And of course, we have Titanfall 2. We're going to have Modern Warfare Remastered, Infinite Warfare, Battlefield 1. Of course, I'm going to be very busy on NerosCinema this year as well. So I don't want to like promise when I'm going to do anything, but I do plan to do more Pokemon games and stuff like that on Nero's Let's Plays. I plan to do more custom zombies on Nero's Let's Plays. There's so many things to do, not enough hours in the day. That's what it feels like. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys will enjoy this week's episode of Dear Nero. I've had a pretty crappy couple of days with all these random tech issues, but I like making Dear Nero every single week, and hopefully you guys all enjoyed watching the episode as much as I enjoyed making it. If you guys would like to submit your questions for the next episode of Dear Nero, you simply send me a personal message here on YouTube, or alternatively, you can tweet me on Twitter at NeroTweets using hashtag Dear Nero. Now, I promise I'll use some YouTube questions next week. I kind of skipped past them all this week, but we had so many Twitter questions, and honestly, we never get a lot of Twitter questions, so I thought it would be pretty cool to have a Twitter-only episode. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop me a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.